episode of Inside to Science! This episode we have a very special interview with the one and only Mr. Joe!
I am Margot, interviewing one of the best biology teachers here in GFS.
The best
The best.
biology teacher at
Please
GFS.
introduce yourself, your specialty, and leadership aspects you hold in the school.
My name is Mr. Joseph Lunt. I am a biology teacher, per se science teacher technically, and I am the head of Year 12.
How long have you been in the science field?
So I did GCSEs, A-levels. I studied a 3-year degree that was in marine biology. So if we take university, 3 years at university, then teaching science, I'm currently in my 7th year of teaching, so I'm in 10 years of science.
10.
Yeah.
Quite long. What got you interested in science at school? Did you have any inspirational science teacher before?
I really enjoyed science. UK is a bit different. Here, I know you guys, you get the choice of, you can either do all three or you can do one. In the UK, you have to do all three. Actually, I hated chemistry, and I had a really bad chemistry teacher, and I think that's one thing I've always tried to remember as a teacher, that you can actually put people off a subject. But in terms of inspiration, I had a really good biology teacher, Miss Jordan, and an incredible physics teacher called Mr. Puplin. He was mental, but he was just so inspiring, funny. He was probably my big inspiration in science.
He sounds like a quite good teacher though.
Thanks.
How did you decide what science you wanted to study further?
So, I excelled at GCSE in physics. I got an A star in physics, I got 98% overall. So I was going to do engineering. That's my thing, I was going to do engineering when I got to sixth form. So maths, physics, biology, and I did electronics. I failed my maths AS level, which is way too difficult. I didn't enjoy it, and that obviously meant that I couldn't do engineering. There's no two ways about it. If I wanted to do an engineering degree, I'd have to have maths. So I dropped maths, had to change, and then realised actually I really enjoy biology, especially fish. It's a weird thing with fish, so I decided I was going to do marine biology.
What was the most challenging aspect of biology for you at school?
Most challenging aspect. So again, I really don't like chemistry. It's got better since I've started teaching it, and I've met good chemistry teachers, Miss Kelsey, Miss Louise here, and others. Okay, I don't want.
We'll be interviewing them as well.
Okay, but the chemistry side of biology, when it's like biochem, I really didn't enjoy at school, and I don't really teach it here. We split the A level, and I don't really do like the unit 1 side. So yeah, when it crosses over with chemistry and molecular biology, really small biology, I'm not a particular fan of.
What did you enjoy most about studying biology at university?
So at university, my favourite unit, I like big picture biology, so things like ecology. So not looking at how a tiny part of one organism works, how an organism and all of those species fit in within a niche in an environment. And I did one course I did at university we looked at like migration and why only certain animals migrate. I really like that. It's all about like energy and health. And I also had another one of my tutors at university was really big into developing like GPS trackers and like all sorts of stuff. So like they developed a tracker that can tell you every time a penguin ate a fish.
The time as well?
Every single time a penguin ate a fish. So, and like that sort of like, so combining like biology but with technology and like engineering design, I really like that aspect of science.
Have you done any jobs or any research in the science field before teaching?
Jobs or research? So I did some research I was involved in when I was at university. I did apply for a job, I didn't get it, but so that was involved with, that was more, it was in science, but it was going to be more like a marketing job within science. But research, because since I've left science, done my degree and done teaching, I've been involved in research in teaching of science.
Okay.
But for my degree, did lots of research, and I helped out a lot of my friends with like their dissertations and stuff.
To give some advice to your students, how did you manage workload, stress through school and university? So for me as well.
At university, I didn't get very stressed. You've seen what I'm like teaching. I'm quite laid back. Imagine that in a teenage boy. I was very, very sort of like laid back at university. First year in the UK, you only have to get 40%. I would say though, however, in my third year, my dissertation, the man who was running my dissertation left my university halfway through my dissertation. He left halfway through, and then because of that, I got no support with my dissertation, and I got the lowest grade on my dissertation I've ever got at university. I got a 3rd, and the lowest I'd ever got before that was a 2-1. That was stressful. That's probably the first time I felt stressed, and that's the first time I think, and it's quite embarrassing for me to say this as a teacher, that's the first time I ever think I revised properly. Proper revision. So university, you're kind of lucky because your lecturers set your exam questions, so you're kind of a bit limited. But in my third year, we did every single unit I did was a 3-hour exam. So that's the first time I felt stressed. But because I was in my third year, the hardest thing to do with stress is to accept that it's there, and then use it as a tool and use it as your driving force. So that would be my advice. Every time you are feeling stressed and you think you can't do it, try and harness that energy. Stress is actually, from a biological and scientific point of view, a really useful tool as long as you can manage it and it's in small doses. So dealing with stress, the answer isn't to bury your head in the sand. It's also not to try and do absolutely everything. It's to focus on the one thing that's going to make a difference and put all of your energy into that. That would be my advice.
What a wise man.
Thank you.
Very. Lastly, do you know any good science jokes?
Oh, do I know any good science jokes?
Really? Going on 3, 2.
I could make a joke about sodium, but nah.
And that's all for today's episode.
Keep an eye out for next week's episode where we have
Miss Teresa! Stay tuned. Bye.